Here today in Alabama, the state that makes its Super Tuesday debut just 2 days from now. At stake, 60 delegates for the Democrats, and obviously Hillary Clinton's hoping that this will help her close the deal, while Sanders is trying to survive to the winner-take-all states later next month. So I want to bring in our Alabama election insiders, and boy are they. 3 members of Birmingham City Council, all Democrats, but they're backing different people. Sanders supporter, Councilor Stephen Hoyt of the 8th District. Clinton supporter, Councilor LaShonda Scales of Alabama's 1st District, and the undecided Councilor Marcus Lundy of the 9th District, who the two of them are going to try to convince otherwise here. I got to start with you as a Sanders supporter. We were talking earlier in the day. Even he admitted on Meet the Press today he took a shellacking yesterday. People were surprised not just by the margin of Hillary Clinton's victory, but the black vote. Overwhelmingly, I think it was 74-point advantage for Hillary Clinton. So what's your guys' play moving forward?
Well, I think for all practical purposes, I think we have to really galvanize and strengthen our on-the-ground going door to door, those kinds of things. But I think Bernie's going to do well. I think we got to, and there's still a ways to the Democratic Convention, and things can turn. I mean, state by state. And so, but I think the synergy is there. The hopefulness of Senator Bernie Sanders' campaign is there. He did quite well. If you look at the crowd that he had versus what Senator Clinton had in Alabama, we had a bigger crowd, and we had so much excitement and the diversity of the crowd.
I have to say though, LaShonda's kind of laughing at you because she's obviously living off the high from last night.
Absolutely.
There is, however, a lot of the enthusiasm on the Democratic side has been for Bernie Sanders. He's gotten these tremendous crowds. Granted, he hasn't been able to translate them to votes, but there is concern on the Democratic side that Donald Trump has. He's not just getting the crowds, but he's translating that to votes, whereas Hillary Clinton, smaller crowds, the records have not been set on the Democratic side. How does she make that happen?
Well, she has to do what the Clintons are best known for, and that's mobilizing people to the polls. We always say that in elections, the 7 o'clock a.m. to 7 p.m., that's the day that makes the difference. And I think that the Clintons, and particularly Secretary Clinton, I think that she has shown that she has a lot of power, a lot of strength under pressure, and I think that she knows who needs to be connected to whom in order to make this work. So that's why I'm not surprised about her numbers. And, we appreciate their small rallies and their big rallies, but we're mobilizing people to the polls. That's what matters.
So, Marcus, this campaign has been going on for about 17 years now, feels like, but actually only since this past summer. But having said that, why haven't you been able to make up your mind yet? What is it that you're going to need to hear before you go into that voting booth on Tuesday?
Well, the people of the 9th District of the city of Birmingham thought enough of me to allow me to be their representative, and I'm grateful. And I don't consider it an easy task. So I'm literally looking at all the issues, point by point, line by line.
So what are your constituents telling you? What matters to them?
All politics is local, and they want to know how what happens in Washington is going to bleed down through the states to the city. What is the living wage going to do in Birmingham?
So this is a very critical point, and this is where Birmingham is really in the middle of something that is going to take over on the national stage. Certainly on the Democratic side, it's something whoever the nominee is going to talk about, and that's the minimum wage. For people who don't know, in this state, Birmingham approved a $10.10 an hour minimum wage. The state came back and said, no city can do this. Where does this go from here? And whoever the Democratic nominee is, because we're sitting here with 3 Democrats, how do they take the lead, make this a national issue, and turn it into something that actually ends up with action?
Well, I think if you consider the synergy of the Bernie campaign and how we've been able to go into cities and to make a difference, I think you start there. Everything, as Councilor Lundy is articulated, that it starts at the local level. I think you get people excited, but a living wage, even $10 an hour, is still poverty. And when it's not been mirrored to the economy that we live in. And so Senator Sanders has spoken about that. That's one of his tenets. The other tenet is an equal wage, equal pay. You know, I'm raising a daughter who is a great student in academian, and so and in that. I want to know that when she finishes school that she's going to get equal pay because she's smart, and like other children who are smart, and women. So I'm raising a daughter, and so Senator Sanders has said over and over again that we want equal pay for equal wage.
So this brings up a question for either Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders, and we're running out of time, but I want to get a quick take from both of you. This has not been a campaign on the Republican side, to the frustration of some other candidates, that has focused heavily on some of the issues. Donald Trump has really made this very much about him, right? And channeling very legitimately the anger that Americans feel about what's been going on in Washington.
But it's dangerous.
But how does it become an issue-oriented campaign? How does it be? Can the Democrats beat a Donald Trump?
Well, absolutely. And let me just say this, because what the Democrats have done is to show that we have the tenacity and the power to get it done. I was thinking on my way here about Lilly Ledbetter, which is from the state of Alabama, who talked about women having equal pay for equal work. Who can best take that to the next level than a woman who has served in Congress, has served by the side of her husband as a first lady, and then taking on that cause that know that there's that glass ceiling that we as women that we feel, and she can be very passionate about it, but not just for women, all citizens. That's one of the things that I talked about with someone. You can't hold parents accountable if the federal mandate is $7.25 an hour. You have to have 2 jobs to get $15 an hour. And guess what? So where are the parents? The children are left at home to attend to themselves, which is not good. So I think that Hillary and the Clinton family has shown America they have the capacity to be able to get the job done. And I have full support in her. And I know that she is one that I believe when she puts her feet and teeth into it, it can work.
Marcus, these two are nothing if not passionate. Has either of them convinced you?
Well, they have convinced me to stay on the Democratic side and to go hard for the Dems.
Did we think you were going to cross over?
Oh, no, never.
And listen,
Well, women, we don't give up now,
and you
Chris.
need to
We
know
don't give up.
that Bernie was raised by a woman, so he'd be a good fit for the White House as well. So you know, women win.
I said jokingly
women
going
win,
in, should I
even
just
in
say
Bernie.
talk amongst
So
yourselves?
you
That
should
would
have.
gone- that would
We
have
look
gone well.
forward.
The Alabama Councilors, LaShonda Scale, Stephen Hoyt, and Marcus Lundy, thank you for a great conversation.
Thank you for
Thank you
having
for
me.
having me to your city.
Thank you.
Up next, how some of the issues fought for during the civil rights movement are still very much in play here in Alabama and frankly around the country in 2016. But first, 3 things to know about Alabama. It was actually Alabama, not Louisiana, that introduced Mardi Gras to the Western world. Thank you for that. The day before Lent begins is called Shrove Tuesday, not Fat Tuesday in the state. This may be college football country, but baseball legends Hank Aaron and Willie Mays were both born in Alabama. And the first open heart surgery ever performed in the Western Hemisphere was performed here in the great state of Alabama. We'll be right back.